gonna talk about it. We didn't really get to talk about it too much,
Mhm.
Tyrese. A couple
Okay.
weeks, and then we'll kind of have maybe this will be the final subject, and then we'll move on, and then we'll probably try to stream another day. But the
All
biggest
right.
talking point, or one of them, Sean wants to bring up Sabonis, the trade that happened. Pete, I want to ask you first, since you weren't here when we live streamed this. What did you originally make of the Sacramento Kings trade?
Uh, instant reaction. I couldn't believe they did that. Like, why would
Yeah.
you trade Halliburton of all the young guys you have? Like him of all of them? Like the one that showed you he's really legit. That's the guy you're gonna let go. Um, thought it was a little crazy, but after I watched that Kings game, the first Kings game with Sabonis, I don't know. My opinion's changed a little bit, dude. Like that team is kind of nice. Like if they're all healthy and out there playing, that's one of the weirder, I would guess, harder to guard teams in the league right now. Like you have De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, who already has been looking a lot better since Sabonis showed up, and he's just looked better the last like 10 games or so in general.
Hmm.
Um, but between Sabonis, you have De'Aaron Fox. I mean, you have a lot of potential all stars on that team. I think they're solid, man. I thought it was a weird trade. I still am not sure I like it. Like you're making a win now move as a really terrible team. I never really liked that. But I think it's another case. This trade deadline comes down to a few win-win trades. I think like this was a win-win trade. I think for both teams.
Mm.
Like, who could the Pacers have gotten more value? Like, what player, young player, could they have gotten that's better than Tyrese Halliburton for Sabonis? I don't think there's anybody they could have got better than Tyrese Halliburton for Sabonis right now. As
From the
much as they,
Kings.
no, for the Pacers, like
Oh, okay.
getting Halliburton out of Sabonis, I don't think they could have gotten much better than that for him right now, right? And that's not a diss on Sabonis. It's more when you have a guy that's been out on the shopping block for that long, his value is down, right? So nobody was going to give up a ton. And to get a guy who could be an all-star in a few years, I think that's a good trade. Why not? I think it makes their lineups a lot more fluid. Like they make more sense in Indiana right now too with Halliburton. Because now Miles Turner can actually just be your big out on the court, and you can
Hmm.
throw T.J. Warren at the four or whatever it is. I think they're going to be a little bit better in the long run. And right now, if the Kings want to win, I guess it's better for them too. I think they should have done anything they could have to not trade Halliburton of all their young guards, though. So, in that sense, I would still say a loss for the Kings, but it's kind of a wait and see type trade. This is the weirdest one of the bunch, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't know. Like I seen that Kings game as well, and at first I thought it was a stupid trade to trade Tyrese Halliburton to the
Mhm.
Pacers. But after I seen that game,
They look good.
and I was like, man, everyone's getting 20 and you know 10 boards, and it looks great. They're all high fiving Sabonis, and they still don't even have did Dante play. I don't even think Dante played. So
Oh yeah, and I
uh,
forgot they even got him too. That I mean, he's not bad.
exactly. So I think they're going to be a little bit more attractive towards free agents. But I think it's kind of a wait and see still, like you said, man. Like I just think it's kind of too much to throw one game and then it gets against the Timberwolves, even though they have been playing great. But I want to see
Hmm.
them play a team that's bad, like the Lakers, just like how they were not too long ago. Like if they can beat the Lakers by 15 or 12, how they just beat the Timberwolves, I think okay, we let's see now. Like it, but they look good though. Like they look very well.
The other thing
But
too is like, what is Tyrese Halliburton going to look like in 2 seasons, right? If Tyrese Halliburton is
exactly.
like an all-star, like second team All NBA type player, which he very well could be. It's a big L for Sacramento, right? But it also hinges on maybe Davion Mitchell. Maybe
Mhm.
De'Aaron Fox starts to play a little bit better without another guard next to him, like Tyrese Halliburton. Who knows? This is of all the trades, I would say we'll really be able to tell in like 2 seasons, right? I think the Harden Ben Simmons, that's like this season, right?
Mhm.
We'll be able to
Yeah.
tell this season who won that one, I think. This is like a 2 or 3 season trade. Like we'll really know. Like Sabonis, from all accounts, what I heard, wanted to be in California. He's actually not unhappy with Sacramento. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Sacramento. Sacramento is actually kind of nice as far as
Yeah, it's fun.
My
California
brother
is
lives in
concerned.
Sacramento.
He
Yeah,
likes
I live in
Sacramento,
Cali.
so
Yeah.
it could be a win. Sabonis is a stud, man, and realistically, I think he actually looked worse on that Pacers team than his talent is actually at. Like, I think he's better than what he looked like with the Pacers. So I don't know. I like this trade. I really hated this one when it first popped up, but now
Same.
I've come around to this, especially with the KP trade being bad as it was.
Yeah, I don't know. This one to me is still kind of up in the air. I still lean towards the Pacers one because now they have their point guard that they can build around, and this is definitely a new team. I understand that the Pacers are more in a rebuild year, or they've announced that, and that's why both of their bigs, even though they didn't trade Turner, were up for grabs. And I think that what I do like about this team is that now they have what they thought they were going to get from Bagley, they're getting in Sabonis. Like, they're getting a guy that can stretch the floor, the guy that can bully down low, and is healthy. He's never missed a game, I don't think. I think he's relatively been a warrior in that sense. Like, he's never been hurt, never been injured. So the thing for them is that they got rid of some good bench players, and I think that I'm curious to see how Dante DiVincenzo plays. He's projection was supposed to be like, this guy's supposed to be like a solid player, but so far he's kind of been kind of average. And I'm curious to see, like, when he's finally healthy, is he going to live up to those expectations?
What are you talking about?
Dante DiVincenzo.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's a little bit better than people are giving him credit for. He just hasn't been healthy for a while.
Yeah, and then Davion Mitchell, obviously a great player in his own right. Defensively, can lock people up. And then you obviously have Holmes as the backup big now, which I think is probably better for him. Probably better.
Guy's.
Someone should be looking
about having a solid backup. Jeez,
Yeah.
man, he's too good to be a backup in the league.
Yeah, and I just think at the end of the day, the Sacramento Kings are basically just the Indiana Pacers of the West. Like, they're a team that's like just. They're good. They have some great pieces, but they're still not there quite
there.
Yet.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And as much as I want to like root on, I just feel like the Sacramento Kings front office has done a terrible job of building around their guys and really building around their players for these last years. We can go back to the Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Divock team that played in the 2000s. Like, that's the last time we saw a good Kings team. And so I just don't trust, in my opinion, I just don't trust it because they obviously had a chance. And we'll go back to that video, Pete, when we talked about them winning the NBA draft lottery, getting the number 2 pick, and then ended up taking Bagley instead of Luka Doncic.
Crazy, giving him away for a bag of chips.
Exactly.
Like, the weirdest part about this trade is that both teams gave up the one guy on their roster that I wouldn't have wanted to trade if I was either team. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to trade Sabonis. I would have rather traded Miles Turner if I was the Pacers. And I 10 times out of 10 would much rather have traded De'Aaron Fox than Halliburton, or even Davion Mitchell for that matter. I would have kept Halliburton out of the 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
That being said, like, if that's kind of why this is the most interesting of the bunch, because it's a lateral move. Like, neither team got a lot better, I don't think. Like, they both got a little bit weaker in certain ways and better in certain. Neither of these teams, this is not going to move the needle this year for either of these teams in any significant way.
Well, I think the Kings got better because they have a proven player. Like, for all we know, Tyrese Halliburton might go to the Pacers and not even exceed how we think he will, right?
No, he was pretty good last night.
What did he
yesterday.
Put? Oh, he did? What did he put up?
Yeah, I think he put up like 18 and 11, and they won the game. They played somebody pretty good, too.
Oh, they played the Cavs yesterday.
Yeah, they won.
No, the Cavs beat them.
Oh, Karis LeVert scored right at the end. I forgot. I turned it off 5 minutes ago. That being said, even though I gave the wrong info there, Tyrese Halliburton was good in that game. He
put up 23, 6, and 3. He
was their best player for the first 3 quarters, as far as I watched. So, like, in that sense, he was awesome. And really, too, when he was their lead guard for the Kings this season, he was really good. Like he was really good. He started off like the first like 2 weeks pretty bad, maybe the first month of the season bad, but then kind of got things turned around. So I don't know, man. This is kind of another
But
win-win trade for
two,
both
I
teams.
think the Kings were just like, screw it. Let's roll the dice. Let's get an all-star player. You know what I'm saying? We can maybe get into that 10th spot, right? Because they're only one game out. I think that's what they were looking at because I think they were like, if we keep Halliburton here, they don't probably think they would have gotten to the 10th spot. I think
Yeah,
they probably felt just from a mind standpoint, it's Sacramento now. Like the owner is trapped. Like he doesn't know what he's doing, but I think they looked at it like, hey, let's get an all-star. Let's see if he can push us to the 10th spot. And he's still young. He's only 25 or 26. So
yeah. I
it's
think
not
my
like a
biggest.
huge.
I'm just really down on De'Aaron Fox personally. I think he's kind of new generation Westbrook in a certain sense. Like plays at this pace that doesn't always lead to winning, right? He's always going to get his stats, but there's so much like craziness that happens out on the court when he's out there because he's so flaily. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't think you can be a really great team if he's your one or two best player. That's
Yeah.
me. So I don't think this was a huge win for them in the sense that they still have that guy as their highest paid player. So
Yeah. And let me get my intern in here really quick. Sean said in the chat, since that's his new team, the Sacramento Kings, changes teams like the seasons change. I think people really underestimate De'Aaron Fox. People are so in love with Halliburton, they pretend Fox is a scrub. Twitter made Sabonis and Fox out to look terrible when the trade happened. The Kings won't go on any more 2-14 stretches like they had. Kings got more mature and won't be as inconsistent. They lost to the Cavs. Halliburton shot like 1-for-8 in the second half. People underrate Fox in all caps.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, I would love to be proved wrong. Like and see this Kings team perform. I would love it, especially for the people in Sacramento. Man, this team's been dog water for 15 seasons, right? So let's see
Yeah, they've
something.
been drinking dog water too.
Like I will say, and this is where I say is a win for them. Like their team is much more balanced right now. They got rid of one of their guards and got a big. Who not only that, an all-star big, an all NBA borderline big. So it's a win. Like what did we say from the mountaintops, Bernie, coming into this season? This team is so poorly built. They have 15 guards on their lineup. Like you're drafting more guards. What are we doing, right?
Yeah.
This is a win in the sense that you take one of your guard prospects and you turn him into a legitimate big. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
I actually think this says a lot about how confident they are in Davion Mitchell, though. Because it's interesting. You get Tyrese Halliburton to slide to you the year before, outperforms what people thought, and he was kind of the darling sleeper pick of last year's draft.
What's up, Ishmael?
And then you end up with Davion Mitchell, who was underperforming, and then you trade the guy from last season, who everybody was happy with. So I think that's an interesting piece to this trade. They must be very happy with Davion Mitchell behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it just seems to me when you look at this with this team and like what, they drafted Mitchell, we were both like, well, somebody's got to go. Someone on this roster has to go. We all thought it was going to be De'Aaron Fox because obviously we know he's a proven scorer. I think a lot of people could have used that type of scoring, but it ended up being Halliburton because I think if we do like an NBA 2K trade thing, like he had more value than De'Aaron Fox, and that's the reason why I think he's gone. What sucks is I think Halliburton actually loved the city of Sacramento, and for some reason he was like the guy that was like, yes, I'm going to rebuild this team. I'm going to make sure it's good again.
And he just had a good personality too the whole way through. So yeah, I don't know. In that sense, I wouldn't have wanted to lose that guy, but you ended up with Sabonis, who I really like. So I'm not underrating Sabonis.
No,
I think
Sabonis
everybody underrates Sabonis.
Sabonis is great, man. I wish the Celtics could have got him, man. Like
I've been trying to get every team in the East to trade for this guy for 2 seasons. So it's like, I like Sabonis a lot. I think they win getting him. It's just losing Halliburton over Fox or Davion Mitchell. Questionable.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll find out what's going to be going on from this trade. Who's going to be the biggest winner and loser. We'll probably find out in the next couple of years. It'll be a long time before that happens, but at the end of the day, we'll see what is going to be happening. So let us know in the comment section down below, who do you think were the biggest winners and losers of the Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers trade? Let us know in the comments section down below.